Good morning, Elgin, Crossroads Baptist Church. We're here with Crossroads Chronicles for week 5. Monday, Pastor Curtis here with Jason and Carrie. This morning, just want to talk to you a little bit about Jesus's last kind of words that he gave to his disciples and that he kind of speaks to us. And they come out of Mark chapter 16, verses 15 and 16. And here's what Jesus says. He says, "Go into all the world and preach the gospel to all creation. Whoever believes and is baptized will be saved, but whoever does not believe will be condemned." You know what Jesus is doing there? He is commissioning his disciples. And he's also commissioning us. You know, when someone is commissioned, it means they're being put forth for service. And just like people commission a ship, you know, for into service, people in the military, officers are commissioned for service. Jesus, when we are saved, he commissions us to go tell the world about him. There's lots of ways to do that. So we'll just talk about a few of those today. Jason, what do you have this morning for us?
I just wanted to just put one thing in perspective. When I was in 6th grade, I heard this Great Commission and it kind of scared me. I thought, well, am I supposed to go overseas now to be a missionary or go to, the jungles to be a missionary? Is that what that's telling us to do? Paul here in Romans 15, he's writing to Rome, and the Christians this is where the gospel was already prominent, already established. They had jobs and they had a network of relationships. So there was a mission field right there. He's not saying in this Great Commission, it's not saying, hey, all you serious Christians, get on a boat and go overseas. It's saying, hey, if you're called to do that, that's great. But if not, then you can support those missionaries and you can be a missionary right where you're at. And I just want to read lastly, 1 Peter 2:9. It says, "You are a chosen people, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, a people for his own possession, that you may proclaim the excellencies of him who called you out of darkness into his marvelous light." So we are all called to spread the gospel no matter where we're at, not just going overseas or Honduras or wherever that's at. That verse instructs all believers to declare the gospel of Jesus in wherever you are, and that message is all throughout the New Testament.
Okay, good word. Miss Carrie, what do you have this morning?
Kind of like, Jason is talking about, being on the mission field doesn't necessarily mean that you have to go anywhere except go about your daily life to be a missionary. So in Elgin, Oklahoma, we can be missionaries at our job. If wherever you work, you can be a missionary. In your home, you can be a missionary. There are lots of ways to do that, but I just wanted to remind us that it's all of our jobs and some of the things that God put on our heart when he called us to this. In Romans 10:13 and 15, it says, "Everyone who calls on the name of the Lord will be saved. How then can they call on the one they have not believed in? And how can they believe in the one of whom they have not heard? And how can they hear without someone preaching to them? And how can anyone preach unless they are sent? As it is written, how beautiful are the feet of those who bring good news." And it's us who's called to share that word. And in Romans here, Paul uses the word preach, or it's been translated into the word preach, but that doesn't mean that that's one person's job. It's all of our jobs to be able to share the gospel in a way that someone can understand and relate to it, and to bring them into this discipleship. And we here at Crossroads, we're not a church just about getting those baptisms or getting those salvations and moving on. We want to help people grow, and that's all of our jobs. When you've helped someone, or someone who is a new Christian, we need to help them. We need to help them to grow so that then they can also go out and fulfill that Great Commission. In Acts 13:47, it says, "For this is what the Lord has commanded us. I have made you a light for the Gentiles, that you may bring salvation to the ends of the earth." And that starts right where you're at. I know that we all think that we'll support missionaries over there with whatever means we can that's really easy, and God doesn't call us to anything that's easy. Yes, he calls us to support missionaries. Our church does a great job of supporting not only our missionaries here, but missionaries elsewhere. We support them through prayer. We support them financially. We have fundraisers for a lot of people that we send out into the mission field. But we also want to be able to support you in your mission field right here in Elgin in whatever way you need that. We are all called to do this, and it's not necessarily an easy job, but it's definitely a rewarding job. It's a job that's close to my heart. I'll go wherever you send me. I know that many people are scared of that, but God laid that on my heart. And I know that he sends each one of us and he prepares each one of us in a different way. We all have a job to do, and if you're not doing yours, then I may not be able to do mine, and vice versa. So we all need to be prepared to do that job. Just a couple of quick numbers, in case you think that where you're at, there are not people that haven't heard the good word. The joshuaproject.net is a really great website to go if you want to learn about missions and the unreached people groups in our world. Globally, 41.6% of the population are part of an unreached people group. And if you think that that's all elsewhere, in the U.S., there are 82 unreached people groups, which is estimated at almost 5 million people that exist in those groups. So right here in the United States, even in Oklahoma, there are unreached people groups, and there are people around you that haven't heard about Jesus in a way that they can understand it. It's our job to bring that to them.
Okay. This morning we got the word from the airline that they canceled our plane tickets to Honduras. So after talking to Pastor Dean this morning, we have decided not to go to Honduras this summer. And, when I first realized that, I was kind of bummed about that and kind of disappointed. But, if I know anything about God, is I know that he has a different opportunity for us this summer. And I don't know what that looks like. I'm thinking it's probably going to be right here in Elgin, Oklahoma. So I would just be preparing your hearts for what God would have us to do over the next week, over the next months, when it comes to doing missions and allowing ourselves to fulfill the commission that Jesus gave us. So we don't need to wait till the pandemic is over. We need to start spreading the gospel of Jesus in whatever ways we have during this opportunity. So be praying about what opportunities does God have for us as individuals and us as a church this summer, as things are a little different, as our plans didn't go like we wanted them to. But man, I know God has big plans for us as he has commissioned us to tell people about Jesus Christ. That's all for today. We'll see you tomorrow. You guys have a great day.